Hello, 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 and welcome to the Efficient Practice Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Evelyn Samuel, and today's episode will be dedicated to another one of my new practice series podcast. And basically, what that means is I'm doing some episodes for the new practitioner. Well, not necessarily the new practitioner, but the new dental practice owner. So, whether you are a new dental practice owner or you are an existing practice owner, these systems for setting up your practice or adding structure to your practice should prove pretty effective. So, to those people who have just opened a new practice, you think about it, you've wanted to do this for a very long time. And then you realize when you get into the practice that no one told us it was going to be like this. It's not your fault if you're in the practice and it feels a bit overwhelming. We didn't learn these things in dental school. They did not teach us how to run businesses. They taught us how to be scientists. And as such, there are some simple systems that you can put in place that can help you have an efficient practice, a productive practice, and a profitable practice, and decrease the stress while doing so. So, today we're going to talk about three must haves for your dental practice. And there again, these are some pretty simple tips and tactics, but as surprisingly, a lot of people don't use them or they don't practice them. So the first must have for your new practice or for having your practice operate efficiently is to make sure that your office is doing morning huddles. Now, I've heard some practices say, well, do you really need to do morning huddles? I've been in and out of a lot of offices across the country, and some offices do the morning huddles, some offices do not. Some offices, they start in the morning and they leave in the afternoon, and others take the time to dedicate to the morning huddle. I definitely swear by the morning huddle because it sets the tone for the entire day. It's a quick check-in. You want to make sure that it is a morning huddle with a purpose, that it is structured, and that you have a foundation laid so that you are having an effective meeting and not just doing it by repetition or because you're saying you're going to have a meeting. So we will dive into morning huddles in another episode because an entire episode can be dedicated to making sure that these are done properly. But that is one of the first must-haves you must have for your new practice or existing practice that needs structure. The number two thing that you should have or should be doing is having a weekly office meeting. Now, that may sound like a lot. You're having a morning huddle every single day, and then you're having a weekly meeting. But a weekly meeting, I think, is paramount because you're going to be discussing a lot of things. You're going to be training in these weekly meetings so that you can give your guests to the practice an exceptional experience. It is a time to go over training for the team. It's a time to go over your procedures for your guests, as in welcoming them to the practice. It is a time to go over your phone skills, as in getting patients to schedule and show up for their appointments. It's just a good time to go over different things in your practice and make sure that all of your systems are flowing well. If you think about any sport or team sport or individual sport, those people are constantly practicing their craft. You should be doing the same for your dental practice. In the past, when patients would come in and they would say, "Oh, doc, your office is so professional, and your team is so professional, and they just do everything so great, and they're so wonderful." Well, yes, my team members and I were great. We'd like to think, but we also practiced on every single aspect of the office. We trained on all of those things. So we didn't lend our professionalism to chance. We actually practiced and trained on all of those items. And you can do it at a lunch meeting. One of the things we did for our weekly office meeting is we would have it over lunch. I would usually sponsor the lunch for the team members. And it was just a time to sit down and go over there again the office structure, the office systems, so that we could keep a professional environment. And the third must-have or thing that you should be doing with your practice, da 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 da, drum roll please, is a 4-hour workshop one time a month. So yes, this sounds like a lot. We have a morning huddle every single day. We have an office meeting once a week. And then I suggest you do a workshop for 4 hours. So you would block off a half a day once in the month. We did it, I think, usually on Thursday afternoons because our practice was closed on Fridays, but it can be whatever day or whatever time that works best for your practice. And there again, you're training on systems. You're training on any new procedures that you may be doing in the office. You're doing an exercise that I will go over you in another podcast that is probably by far one of the most effective exercises that you can do for communication in the practice to your patients and your prospective patients. And you're creating a cohesive environment for your team members amongst each other and their relationships with patients. So that 4-hour workshop is there again, another meeting, a longer meeting or workshop to go over the systems in your practice. If you are a team that reads a book for the month, that is a good time to go over your book of the month. Definitely believe in book clubs for the office for training purposes as well. But there again, it's that time for you to go over the systems in the office. And I'm going to throw in a bonus. This wasn't part of the 3 must-haves, but this is a bonus, and this is something I did with my team members. At the end of each day, we would do another quick session. It was only about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes max. It was usually about 5 minutes, where we would go around to each team member and we would say what went well that day. Now, what that did is that got us in the right frame of mind to leave the office in a calm spirit, like we arrived. We started our day in the mornings. So we just, no matter what went on that day, we would concentrate on the positives or the things that went on or went well that day. So that wasn't included in my 3 must-haves, but that is a really good bonus if you want to add that to those lists. Now, with this new practice series, what we're doing is we're trying to make sure that you set up your dental practice correctly, and there is a correct way to do this from the very beginning. If you put these systems in place when you start, you will find that you will enjoy practicing dentistry a whole lot more. You can be efficient, you can be productive, and you can be profitable with decreased stress. Okay, a lot of dentists deal with a little bit of stress or maybe a lot, but you can decrease those things with some really simple measures that we're going to be talking about in this series of episodes of the podcast. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the Efficient Practice Podcast and to rate and review the show. That really helps us to continue bringing you quality content that will help you in your new practice. And also, if you would like more information on our services, please go to www.drevelynTsamuel.com and you can learn more about what we do and how we help offices to have efficient practices, to have a loyal, high producing team members, to treat your patients better and to make more in less time. Because let's face it, we are here to take care of patients, but at the end of the day, it is still a business and we must treat it as such. So This concludes another episode of the Efficient Practice Podcast. Thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. And until then, take care and be well.